Okay, guys, welcome to Treehouse Meeting number 13. So first up, we're going to have a demo from Catherine from Sirocco Digital, just because I think she has to leave early, so well, I'll get that going straight up. So are you ready for that, Catherine, or do you need a few minutes? Or?
Oh, I certainly am. Absolutely.
Excellent.
I will share my screen. Fantastic. Okay. Now, hopefully, everybody can see my screen all right. I thought we'd just do a little bit of a demo of the analytics console that comes through when you first log in. So if it's a brand new site and if it's the first time you've set up analytics, it won't have any historical data, unfortunately, but if you have had analytics running in the past, that will all just pull through, which is really handy. Even if it's a sort of a brand new migration, all that past analytics will come in. So what's fantastic about this is that we've got this little drop down that gives us 7, 14, 28 and 30 days. So you can start very quickly seeing what happens, on a larger scale, and also sort of more tweaks in sort of that over time. You can see here our lovely coronavirus having fun here. So the other thing that's fantastic about this is that you can kind of drill down into a few of the different areas. So you can go into see sessions as well. If you click on each of these, you actually get the graph update. Same with bounce rate and session duration. Sessions is pretty much any kind of group of interactions within it, 30 minutes. So 30 minutes is pretty much a time frame, then it sort of times you out. And if you continue viewing, then it's a new session. So they're your 30-minute chunks. Your bounce rate, of course, is your percentage of your single page visits. So that's when they sort of view a landing page and then don't view any other pages on the site. So pages that typically have large bounce rates, of course, are things like contact us pages. But we're always sort of trying to keep that bounce rate down to sort of around the 50% rate, depending, of course, what industry it is. And then session duration, so how long people are spending on site. So that's actually a really important part because we want to see that people are actually spending time and not just viewing the page and then leaving. Then we've got over here, what pages do your users visit? So it gives you just a rundown of page views. Again, you can change the dates here so that you've got a longer time frame. Page value is actually something that's like an average of the page, like that a user visited before landing on like a goal page or an eCommerce transaction. So if you set up conversion costs, so goals that have costs, it can then work out what each page is actually worth on your website as part of that, track that goes from one page to the other to get to that final goal or get to that eCommerce transaction. So if you've got that set up, that will actually populate in here too. Further down, we've got a little how do you acquire users. So we sort of split up into just a couple of topics. If we go into traffic channel, what's lovely is as you sort of highlight and hover over, you actually get these specifics. Again, this can be extended to be over sort of 30 days, but it shows you 7 days as a basis, and you've got organic and then direct, then cost per click, referral, and other. It kind of groups all the others in together, which is things like, social. Then if you go into source and medium, it splits it up a little bit. So you start getting like Google organic compared to Bing organic. You get Google cost per click and then Bing cost per click separate. So there's also a little arrow here that you can kind of scroll through, and it also shows any other sort of major referral streams. And then if you go straight into referrals is actually just other websites that are sending traffic to your website. So that's things like Facebook, but also any sort of major websites that are being high contributors, YouTube and that sort of thing. It doesn't have everything. It kind of groups things into other and gives you the main stats for the other pages that have got the highest push-through rate. Where are your users? I love this one because as you hover over, you can actually see statistics of each of the different countries, which I think is fantastic. You can also hover over this little bar graph, and it actually gives you grouped numbers of different locations too. It also shows you a sort of a little colour band. So you've got an idea of, what's viewing the highest in that period, and then what's sort of lower under that. So it's a nice little visual representation, I think, especially for customers. They get a better idea of sort of what's going on, and they can have a look sort of more at scale as well. Top devices. This is extremely important, the devices side, because obviously, what we're doing with AMP and things like that are really sort of contributing to mobile. The good thing is with these is it gives you actually a little percentage underneath, and this is the case with a few of them. So if you do 7 days, it's actually showing you in the last 7 days compared to the 7 days before. So it gives you a little idea as to how the traffic's increased or dropped from compared to the period before that. So I think that's really, really clever, and it also just gives you a sort of a little visual. I find these are really easy for customers to understand, especially if they get a quick overview of how to sort of, go through that timing. When do your customers visit? I actually love this one because if I go into 30 days, it actually starts giving me some really interesting data. What it does is, because you've got so many views over that period, you start seeing little dark areas, which is where you're getting most of your traffic. So that can work really, really well for AdWords too. So you've got an idea of when the most amount of traffic is coming to the site. Like let's get ads running at that period. So that can be really, really beneficial also to see if there's any sort of traffic in the evenings too, and what that prime time is to be advertising. Then we've got the active users trending over time. So this is actually quite a nice little graph too, especially again on the 30 days. And as you run over it, you get some really nice little statistics. And it sort of shows you over the months what the change has been. So it's really nice to have a look at a bit of a sort of seasonal difference in traffic. And you can see with this side, it's actually pretty steady. Then you've sort of got down here, you've got daily. And in the middle, you've got weekly. So again, over time, it's a nice little kind of chart to track exactly what's going on with the website. And it gives you the numbers down here as well as being able to hover over and actually be able to see sort of individuals. So look, I'm finding this is actually really helpful for clients. It's simple and easy for them to understand. I'm really hoping that in future we'll be able to customize this a little bit more. We send dashboards of analytical information to our clients each week to replace what Adobe used to do, and sort of pick some of the information, but it's not as pretty as this. So I think this is a really great little resource, and setting this up as a dashboard feed from your analytics API is really helpful for clients because they're used to getting that information from Adobe especially. So to be able to sort of continue to give them that, even if it's not an email that's sent out to them, each week, at least they can sort of log in, they can get the information they want. I'd love to get things like goal conversions in here. That would be sensational. Being able to show them how many people are filling out their contact forms, how many people are subscribing, who's purchasing e-commerce wise. I think that would be really handy, but this is a really good baseline to start with, and be good to continue to encourage your customers to look at this. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for that, Catherine. That was very helpful for me. I know I always get confused with all those values, and that's why I asked you to do the demo. Do you have like common things that your clients look at that and always get wrong or always misunderstand that you've got to sort of re-educate them?
I tend to find bounce rate is one of the things that people don't really understand. And especially they freak out when they see bounce rate on Contact Us page. And what you need to really think about with bounce rate especially is the fact that if someone comes to a page and then they leave, it means either they've got the information they needed because that's what they were looking for, or it can mean it's actually not what they were looking for. So it can mean two things. It's not always doom and gloom. So, I expect a Contact Us page to have a really, really high bounce rate, and that's fine because people are looking for where your address is, what your phone number is, things like that. So bounce rate, making sure you sort of talk people through that. I find that one's a little bit difficult. And also the page view cost, the page value, because they see that pages are worth $0 and they think, oh God, what does that mean? Does that mean my website's worth nothing? And trying to explain to them that, okay, so when they hit a goal, the goal conversion we set up is worth $100, or the e-commerce transaction is worth this, but then each page that leads you to that is worth something. So if we haven't set up that conversion cost, then it's just going to say it shows $0 for everything. It doesn't mean it's not worth anything. But this is, when it is set up, it's actually a really good way of being able to show customers what pages contributed to a sale or contributed to a conversion. So then you understand the value of that page in that whole sort of conversion process, which is then good to be able to say to customers, well, look, this is a really important page on your site. It's not the actual purchase part, but it's a page that people are constantly going to. Therefore, let's spend some time working on that and making sure we've got good FAQs, good reviews on there, lots of information so that people can make an easy decision about purchasing or moving forward. So it can give you some nice little clues too. So as much as it can be confusing, it's a good way of people saying, what's that zero mean? Say, well, actually, if we set up your conversion so that they were worth something, to say that each time someone fills out that form, that's worth $10 to you, or that's worth $100 to you, then we'll be able to actually start looking at page value. So sometimes customers being inquisitive about this too can be good, because it's a good opportunity to be able to extend what you're doing for them on the website, and get them a little bit more actively interested and involved in what's happening.
Yeah, that's a good point. And just on the country data,
yes,
that was quite interesting. I've seen on some sites where the country data doesn't seem to make sense for their site. Like, you get a very high visit rate from some strange country. Do you find that accurate in most cases? Or
look, it never used to be in Adobe. I think we really struggled explaining that data to clients, and in the end I would put analytics on their website to be able to show them that the data is really very, very different. I know it's something you brought up. It was brought up in the forum the other day. The problem with analytics is, does it include bots and spiders or doesn't it? So that can really make a big difference. And a lot of that's from overseas. Yeah. So you get very inflated results, and people think, I'm getting all this traffic from overseas and I don't want to advertise to them, but it might not actually be real traffic too. So one of the things that I think is important, when you're looking at your statistics, if you're finding you're getting a huge amount of overseas and you've actually ticked the checkbox in analytics to say don't like to exclude bots and spiders, is really looking at how the targeting is set up on the website, making sure that you've got the NAP on the website, so the name, address, phone number is in the footer, trying to include the locations and the suburbs that the customer services. Sometimes it's an indication that you're targeting on your location of where that business services isn't strong enough. Because if people are seeing it from overseas and they're not actually looking for the service, for example, in Australia, then they've been served something that is really not relevant. So we want as much traffic. Like for this instance, this is a local business in Australia. They want all of their visits to be in Australia. So we worked very hard on making sure that the targeting for that was very tight around exactly the locations. And we tend to find they don't get much traffic overseas. Yeah, right. Because it's the location targeting is set up so well, and we use geotags and things like that to just further say, no, this website is actually for Sydney, or for it's national, or whatever that happens to be. So it's another good way of saying, okay, so what else can we do on this website, and what else can we do with Google Maps and things like that to try and really hone down that location targeting and make sure it's much more relevant. And then you start tending to find that changes your location targeting, and your maps start changing so that you're getting more traffic from where it's supposed to be coming from.
Yeah, because I often wondered if, especially now with privacy issues and things like that becoming more prevalent, a lot of people are using VPNs and DNS resolvers that kind of would mask their actual location. So I didn't know if that was a big part of it as well, but.
Yeah. But look, I really think if every business, whether it's national or not, or whether it's worldwide, you still need to make sure that that's very, very clear on the website, and doing some of those basic when it comes to sort of that local targeting is really important. But making sure that it's really clear on the website exactly what your that target location is, and really actively going after that is only going to help the website too, because they're going to get more relevant traffic. And that, at the end of the day, it's all about relevancy. So, we don't want traffic from locations that are totally irrelevant.
Yeah. Right. Did anyone else have any questions for Catherine? I know you have to leave a bit early, Catherine.
No, that's okay.
Anyone else who wasn't understanding analytics like me, or?
That's all right. Well, if anyone wants to shoot me any questions, it's info@siroccodigital.com.au.
Cool. Thanks for that. All right. So I'll just do a few quick updates. I'll just share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen there? It's just the Zoom screen. Okay, so I think since last Treehouse, obviously we've had a lot of e-commerce updates rolling out, which keeping everyone busy. But I just wanted to quickly touch on just a few other little updates, just make sure everyone was aware. So documentation, I released the liquid filters on the documentation, so they're all sort of here on the one page now, and all relevant to Treepl, because I know there was just a few little discrepancies with referencing other, like the Shopify documentation for that. So I've finally got it all on the documentation, so it's all relevant to Treepl, all in the one place. And there's also a page that will be specifically for Treepl filters. So there's a few e-commerce ones that have to be added in here as well, so they'll all be added here on this page. So hopefully that makes working with Liquid a bit easier for you guys. Also, you might notice this new item here called Liquid Learning. So there's a 4-part Liquid tutorial basically coming. I've got parts 1 and 2 pretty much finished, so just trying to work on 3 and 4. And I think it's pretty comprehensive run through of Liquid, particularly focused on its use in Treepl. So I'm hoping that will really help everyone out that's struggling with Liquid. I think I might try and get a few early people to look at that, just to run through it and see if it all makes sense and things like that. So if you're sort of wanting to get into Liquid and wanted to have a look at this course ahead of time to just give me some feedback, that would probably help, because I sort of come at it at a very technical angle and other people might not, and so yeah, I sort of need that feedback. So if you're interested in having a sneak peek at that and giving me some feedback, just let me know. Yep, some people happy to be a guinea pig. Also, I think in the last release we had secure zone documents, which is huge, and also the ability to put a whole directory into a secure zone, or secure a whole directory, which was always lacking in BC. And I think they've also locked down the file uploads when a file is uploaded from a web form. But I think there's some changes happening with that, so we might have the option to secure it or unsecure it. Has anyone worked with this new secure documents? Does anyone have a use case where they've got that in place, and is it working well? I haven't had a play with it myself. And just 2 other things. There was the UK data center release, so that was pretty huge, I guess, for our UK partners. And I just wanted to remind everyone to make sure you have a look at the public backlog when you're logged in, because so Peter and I did a bit of an audit of all the backlog items, and we removed probably about, I think, 15 or so, was it? So there might be the case that you've got a few votes back. So make sure you come in and log in and have a look. So it looks like I have a vote, which I didn't know about. So yeah, it's changing all the time. So just keep going back in there because the votes, I think, will really help. And after every release, I'm going to be trying to look at what came out and run through all the backlog items, make sure that nothing was missed, and yeah, make sure everyone is getting their votes back as quick as possible, if that's the case. Okay, so that was pretty much just the updates I wanted to give. Peter from Genie Corp is going to give us an e-commerce demo, I hope, if he's still ready for that. Are you still up for that, Peter, and are you ready to do that now?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So guys, I'm just going to share my screen here when Adam is done. There we go.
Should be right now, I think.
Yep. So everybody's seeing my screen now? Yep. Okay. So what I'm going to do today is just a small demo of the e-commerce system. It's more or less like one-to-one compared to BC because, well, it has to be, right? Because we need to migrate a lot of sites from e-commerce. So it's more or less the same features, but there's small things that make a huge difference, I think, already now. So I think when this is implemented and everything is as it should be, which it already is, and we can move on, and when we have migrated all the sites and so on, I think this is going to be like very awesome system. But already now we have a lot more options of doing things that were quite difficult in BC, or we had to do all sorts of hacks. So we built this site actually for ourselves. So we did like not a fake company, but we did this II company. The meaning by this is trying to see how e-commerce is from our client's perspective. Because we just do sites, give them to clients, and then they do whatever they want to do. So we wanted to try and sell our own products. So we actually bought products from China when Corona happened. So actually, after Chinese New Year, we were waiting for the products, and then Corona came, so we don't have any products yet, but we have an awesome e-commerce system, hopefully. So I'm just going to take a small tour, show you the details, but as mentioned, it's nothing fancy or the golden standard or how you should do it or anything. It's just to show you that everything works just like it did in BC, and then just show you the small things that I think makes a big difference already now. So I'm just going to take you through the site. Very basic site, front slider, a bit of advantages. Yeah, you can learn a bit of Danish as well today. So this is advantages about the product. So it's just small pieces of text, yada, yada, yada. So here is popular products, and there's just 4 of these glasses here, and as you may tell, the images are not that great because they just came right out of China, and we didn't get a chance to get any pictures ourselves. So we're gonna live with that for now. The images here is also just placeholder images loaded into the site. So just a small thing. If I want to add these popular products to the to the front page, I've just done a small tick box where you can just add this to the front page. It's a small thing. You can do it in BC as well. You can use your on sale or another form of checking. If you want it on the front page, you could put it in a group. You could do anything. But the thing about this is not this particular feature, but the thing is, which you all may be aware of, is that, well, products is just like any other custom module, right? So we can just add whatever we want. So I've just added 5 poplets, just like in BC. This tick box, and then I have a drawing just to show the drawing of the glasses, right? But you can have all sorts of things here. So you don't just have custom 1, 2, 3, 4, which were driving me crazy back in the days, right? Because you need to explain to clients, well, in custom 1 field, you're just going to put this data, and in custom 2, you're going to put another type of data, right? But it didn't make sense. So what we did in BC, we had to do like a web app, which would like work together with the e-commerce. So you had a web app with all the data for the product, and then you had the e-commerce thing. But the problem was that the clients didn't understand, why do we need to go to e-commerce to do some settings, and we need to go and put in data in a web app. So this has all come together now in Treepl, and it just makes for a lot easier interface. And I think it's going to make a huge difference because we can add anything in here. So the possibility of building an e-commerce system as you would like and custom make it for your clients is very awesome, I think. So I'm just going to take you through the site itself. I'm just going to pull up my notes here to be absolutely sure that I don't miss anything. So that was the popular products. So I'm just going to take you to the shop, e-commerce shop. So this is just going to be an overview of the shop. The site is actually still a bit slow, but I think it's because I'm loading all sorts of things. We haven't updated it yet. So it's still a work in progress, and all the images are loaded from another site because they're just placeholder images and so on. So this is just all of the 9 products we have at the moment. Some of the products have other colors and so on. So I'm just going to jump into a product. There we go. Yep. So this is more or less the same thing as you could build in BC, right? So what I found was great is also the inventory things and so on. It works very, very nice. So we just did, like, there's 3 different colors, and if they're in stock, if there's like +3 in stock or something like that, I'm going to say in stock, below 3 or equal to 3. Should say a few, low stock, and if there's none in stock, it's just going to say none in stock. So, and here we have the drawing from the field you saw before, and at the bottom we just have other products. That would just be like related products, but in this case, since every product is more or less related, it's just going to show all the other products that are without the one you're currently on, of course. So we have a tab here explaining a little bit about the brand, so on. You can have all sort of different tabs if you wanted to. So I'm going to pick a color. I'm going to do the shiny black ones. And then I'm going to have this small alert. So you could change that in any way you want it because it's just a normal alert window, right? So you can do that in BC as well. In this case, we used, I think it's called Suite Alerts. Gives them a nice touch to it, I think. So now you have 2 selections. You can either move to the basket, go to the shopping cart, or just keep shopping. So if you just do keep shopping, it's just going to do an update of the page. And as soon as it updates, you have side view of the basket, product, color, and the total cost. And then it's going to, here I did like just a small thing to say, well, you could just buy 1 pair of glasses more and you get like a free shipping. So it just calculates and say, okay, I need to buy for above $3.99, I think it is, and then otherwise show this if it's below that. So I'm gonna move to the shopping cart, and these things are more or less like really basic. So it's just showing the product, you can clear the cart, of course, and then you have like an overview over here. This says shipping, taxes, discount code, what the discount might be. Again, buy a pair of glasses, get free shipping. So what is actually, we thought it was quite cool, but I'm not sure how you use it in other countries, but in Denmark it's possible to have like home delivery is 55, but you could also get it delivered to like a drop-off point. So you could just go to your local 7-Eleven, supermarket, anything. But it would be a little less. So this it's actually quite popular in Denmark because delivery is quite expensive. So what we did is that we calculated for the user's address, we calculated what the closest drop-off point is. Actually, we didn't do that because there's a plugin for that, or there's an API call. So I also played a little around with that one. It took me a while to get my head around it, but it actually kind of worked after a while. But so I'm just going to do delivery to drop-off point, or what you may call it. So it just says shipping here, 39. Yeah, that's about it. You know how it works. It's an e-commerce system. So yeah, I'm just going to show you how this works. So I'm just going to put in an address, an actual address here in Denmark. This is actually where I grew up. So there we go. And then when the zip code is entered, it's going to load these drop-off points and sort them by, just going to go down here, and sort them by which is closest. So you can just go and pick, well, I want to do the pickup at the 7-Eleven. And then that's actually it. So this system actually does all of the packaging labels, and you can also order the delivery itself in there. So it's very used in Denmark for e-commerce systems, but I don't know how it works in other countries. But it was quite a fun experience to play around with this and actually get it to work. So that was quite nice. But other than that, the e-commerce system is more or less as you know it. And thank God for that, because it's going to be easier when we do the migrations right. And then I'm sure, like I mentioned, that there's going to be new awesome features being built off of that. One feature that I just think is awesome is like the custom list here, so you can just do all of the data you need, pull it out here, just like in any other modules. But so it is basically, of course, just a custom module, but that makes it very nice to work with. I just have one more thing I want to show you. It's not that fancy, but I actually thought it was quite a nice way of doing an easy way of seeing the stock, how much is in stock. Because I think you might be able to put it out here, but it's hard to say or to see how many of the current products is in stock, right? So I just did like a very basic site. This is just like overview, and I just did an if statement. So if the pass is not equal to this, it will not show this because it's not as sensitive. But you don't want anybody to see it. But it's also a way of not having to log into a secure zone, but just having a quick overview of what do you need. So if somebody were to go to the page without the real login, they would of course just get nothing. So it's just a very basic secure zone. And yeah, this is just more or less, it's just going to do in stock, the total in stock, and it's going to show the different colors, how many you have in stock, the prices, so on. But I just love these data tables, even though they are based on tables, so they won't work in any case. But for something like this, I think it's quite nice, and you can just do search for one thing, for the name, or for how many, or whatever. We actually use this plugin for a lot of things. It's quite nice. Also for you could do it for employees. If we have companies that have like very many employees and you just want like a phone list or anything like that, you can use it. You can sort by different things. Yeah, it's actually quite an old plugin. I know that a lot of people use them on PC as well. So it's not a new thing, and it's nothing. Yeah, but I think it's quite nice. So actually, that was it. If anybody wants to see the back end, I guess, well, if you haven't played around with it, it's more or less like PC. So I just wanted to show like what we did, and as mentioned, nothing fancy, not the golden standard or anything, but for me, it was just to do a demo, especially for the partners that didn't have a chance to play around with it yet. So for me, you can use it. The only thing we're missing now is the migration part, right? But if you need to build something or start up with it, you can do that. And it's very capable of doing anything. And one thing I forgot to mention, just gonna do this for just a small thing. If I did this in BC, if I had like the shipping here, I would like it to say choose shipping in Danish, which it does now. In BC, I don't think I couldn't get into this module. It was just like a mini module. It always said choose shipping. So I needed to do like a small hacks with JS and to do these kind of things. But all of these small, layouts are possible to do in Treepl. So you can always do a custom layout on one of these things. So you can just find the layout. It's in the CMS asset folder. Find the layout. You don't want to work in the CMS asset folder, but you can just find the layout you want to choose, download it, do whatever you want to do with it, and then in the layout variable for this layout, you're just gonna reference it to that particular page or layout. I'm not sure this is the shopping cart. It's here. Just wanted to show you.
Hey Pete, we can't actually see if you're in the admin or something like that, we still see the website.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Well, yeah, sure. If anybody wants to have this info, I'm just gonna share it with you afterwards. But it's very easy. But you can just reference to a layout on these smaller things. So we also did it on the side, the basket on the side, and in here. So it's just very small things. But for us, when we want it to be in Danish, so on, it's just very neat. It just works. So yeah, I think that's it. And if anybody has any questions about it, just let me know. Yeah. Just going to stop sharing here, if I can. There we go.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that, Peter. That was awesome. Yeah, that delivery API is pretty cool. I can't believe you set up a whole business with products. And are you expecting many sales?
Sorry?
Are you expecting many sales on that?
Well, no. It's quite a fun thing because everybody was like, well, is this, so you're going to do a new business, you're going to do another thing, and well, we didn't, and we don't want to do. Of course, it's okay. We order like 300 pairs of glasses, and they are very cheap. So it's just to make it as a demo and to try and see how much traffic we can get into the site with AdWords and so on. So it's more, it's like just seeing it from the client's perspective. And if we sell all the products, I hope we sell them, but otherwise we're gonna, at some point we're gonna do a Treepl Max thing, right? So maybe we can just hand out glasses to everybody. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah. That was good. All right. Well, did anyone have any questions on e-commerce for Peter, or questions in general? Okay. Barry says he does. Yeah. Go ahead, Barry.
Alex is going to be on here, so I'm sure he might tell us more. But I have one site set up that I did the trial on the e-commerce part, and when I click on shipping options, in taxes, it takes me back to the home, to the main dashboard screen. So I don't know how you set that up, because it's not working for me to even get in there and see what settings I can set up.
So in the back end, it's
Yeah, on the back end, you expand e-commerce, right? And I can click on products. And I can create a new product. I can create catalogs, but everything else, discount codes, vouchers, taxes, and shipping options, when I click on them, it takes me back to the analytics screen.
Is
So
this a trial site?
it is.
There has been an update on for all trial sites for 5.1. So maybe it has cached or something. Can you send me a link? We have several developers here online, and they will quickly take a look.
Yeah, I'll just stick it in the chat too.
I had the issue, and I had to turn on the new payment gateway option before it would work.
Yeah, I'm not building anything. I really want to know more about migrations and stuff like that, because I have a huge site to migrate over that would probably work fine. But that I'm sure Alex will address some of that.
Yeah, I'm sure support will fix that up for you if it's a side issue. I haven't experienced that. All right. Well, next up we have Alex. Sorry to leave you to last, Alex, but I know whatever we're discussing here will take us to the end of the meeting, no doubt. So I thought I'd put you up last. So I hope that's okay. And yeah, I'll hand it over to you, Alex, if you're ready to go.
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. Nice seeing you all. It seems like Zoom is quite popular now, and their servers are quite loaded. So there may be some lagging, it seems. Well, let me start. I have quite some notes here. Let me start that you may not know that, but we do discuss this once in a while in the team, and you don't see that, but we enjoy building the platform a lot. It's like we really, really enjoy the process. We enjoy the interactions with each other, with you guys, and we enjoy doing this whole thing for, in May, it's going to be 24 months. So it's more than 20 months now. And that's really important, and that really drives us a lot, and we're really looking forward to what's coming. So this has been very, very great, and just wanted to let you know that we're really, really excited and to work on this on our end. By the way, all of our employees are we have super low employees exchange. So basically, the most key people that work on the platform has been here since the beginning. So almost since the beginning. So it's it's also very important for us as a team. And also, I'd like to share that we do get calls with Adobe, and we exchange numbers. As being a migration partner, we are obligated to give the numbers and statistics to share with Adobe on the migrations and number of partners and things like that. And it was on the last call we had last week. It was Friday or Thursday, I don't remember. I was excited to hear that we got 100% positive feedback from BC partners to Adobe about Treepl. So there hasn't been a single negative feedback about Treepl platform from a BC partner, and they're super excited about that, and we were very very happy to hear that as well. Okay, yeah. So Barry, the response is for your issue is in the chat. So the advanced payment flow was disabled.
Oh, so I have to just turn that on?
You need to enable that, and yeah, you just turn it on, and it should work. and beta features. Yeah. A third thing I'd like to share that the migration and activation pace has been incredible starting January 2020. It seems like many of you guys have, many of VC partners and Treepl partners have been waiting for January, for basically 2020 to start their migration processes and working with Treepl more actively. It's incredible to see that we have some good number of free users activating sites, and some of them have multiple live sites in Treepl, and they are BC partners. So that was one thing that we didn't expect. Aside of the associates and BC and Treepl partners, of course, Treepl partners are showing the highest activity. So let me share about the performance update, and Aaron couldn't, he's with a client. So I got the performance update from the team for 2 sites that you guys all know. Let me share my screen. So this has been, I need to make sure that, okay. So performance update, this is our first performance update after we started the refactoring. So as you know, when we released the 5.0, we finally started on the refactoring of certain areas of the CMS. So this is the very first one. So basically it's the one we started from the surface. It's something that we did on top. And this mostly relates, and this update, this performance update affects pages that have multiple module items and pages that load more than 2 seconds. So let me show you an example. I did try it out before the meeting. All worked well. We'll see how it works now. So we have Treepl Co. Public backlog. That's the slowest page on our website, because it has the votes, it has 3 categories of features, it has tags, and another multiple links. So it renders a lot of items from different custom modules. So currently it loads at 5. The time to first byte is more than 5 seconds. Let me reload it and let's see, maybe it's gonna get even worse. So it's even worse. It's more than 7 seconds right now at the moment. So, and this is the version where we have the performance update for this same page. We did a copy of it, I think, yesterday. So there are very minor changes. So, and this one should get to. So this one went down to 252. Well, it was under 2 seconds most of the time that I tried that. So for this page, it's like 3 times faster. Let me try it once again. Yeah, it's 163. That's what I usually get. 161, 163. That's the speed that I get for this page, for this performance update. Another site is a documentation that has been kind of slow as well. Let me show you an example. This one, 29 was too much, but even the home page was quite slow. Let me see how this one works. The last one it had. So this is the duplicate where it has performance update, and this loads in like roughly it's about 2 seconds. And our live version is still loading. Maybe something wrong with it. Let me ask Alexei, and we'll wait for that. But meanwhile, let me share how we're gonna release this performance update. So we didn't release it currently with the version 5.1. We have released. We have released it to all trial sites. So we didn't. So features that we have announced in the in process tab on our public backlog. So these we have released in 5.1. I'll get to the e-commerce template a little later. And they are released for trial sites, and the live sites, we will release them starting tomorrow morning. So it will all go to live sites starting tomorrow morning. The performance update will not be included. We will, because we want to run extra testing. So we basically want to make sure we want to do the regression testing, and we want to make sure that everything works perfectly, and nothing, because we did some changes to the actual core of the CMS. We want to make sure that everything works properly, and then we release it to trial sites, and then we will release it to live sites. So this will be somewhere in between the sprints, this and the next sprint. That's what we are aiming at. Basically, it's already in the QA. So the development has been done for it, and we're waiting for the QA, our QAs to finish the testing. They have started today. This is the first day they did the QA, the full QA. So they will start 100%, continue on 100% testing tomorrow. From the other initial tests that we did on certain trial sites and the sites that we have, we got some complaints and we thought were kind of slow. We got up to 80% speed increase for certain pages, and also this performance update will bring Liquid 2.0. And this will also, and Liquid 2.0 will fix, and Nice 2.0 and New Liquid will fix the recursion fix. So when there's a recursion on the page, it may load up to 40 seconds. I mean, the recursion that is done with implementation. So the Liquid 2.0 will basically fix any recursion, and will process that. And those pages, the initial tests have shown that they load up to 1.5 seconds, where the recursion currently is. So this is regarding the performance update. And let me see if that page has loaded. Yes, that page has loaded. It's been, his documentation is back to work. Do you have any questions on the performance update, and maybe in general any performance related questions? Okay, seems like we don't have any questions, and I can continue going further. Again, this is the very first refactoring that we did, and we just did this like stuff that's on the surface, not go into too deep. We will be performing those performance updates upon them being ready. So for the next 6 months. So basically, they will appear in between on together with sprints, with every sprint in the nearest 6 months. So we will continuously add those, and the sites will basically start working more and more. And also refactoring will include some of the features, some of the requests from the public backlog, because while we are there, we're able to add certain stuff. So the developers are monitoring your requests on the forums, and the requests that you put in public backlog. Live date before that performance update. The estimated live date, well, it's going to be upon ready. I don't want to force it, because it's stability. It basically affects the stability of live sites. I think that we will start with trial sites, and my worst guess scenario, it's going to be like within 3 weeks. It's like the worst guess scenario. And we're going to release it to trial sites. We will be able to, we may be able to add the performance update to certain live sites upon request of a partner. But we'll probably have to discuss it with each partner and depending on the site. Yeah, but so we'll look how it goes. I can't really give the exact update right now. So there's a question regarding e-commerce, I think, from Aaron, right? And we have Vlad here. Hey, Vlad, can you help me answer that question? It's the one in chat, and if you could please answer that in chat, and I will just go on.
Yeah,
Other.
I did a little investigation.
Okay, good.
I will write it down.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so this is on the performance. Let me go further. So the new template, it's ready, and this is the link. It's furniture.treepl.co. So this is the e-commerce template, the first e-commerce template that we are giving you guys and available for all Treepl users. And you can build sites from it, and Michael and his team has done an incredible job. It's not yet available in Treepl Portal. You can only it's in the testing as well. So they didn't finish. There's still a few bugs need to be fixed. I think we need 2 to 5 business days to nail those bugs, and we will basically announce it when it's ready through your Treepl Portal. And you can go ahead build sites using that. We have some quite. So this is the template, and we still have some others in development. So we have a complete team actually just for templates, and they constantly work on the new stuff. So new templates are coming, and if you have any ideas, feedback, please post them in Slack, an e-commerce channel. And I'm sorry, templates channel. That's where the stuff is. Next, I have the BC to Treepl app. I know you guys are waiting for it to start, waiting for the e-commerce migration to be added. So currently, we have accomplished transfer of all the e-commerce assets. So basically, the version that we have right now will migrate everything, all the e-commerce assets. Email campaigns is not an e-commerce asset. So what's left, and it's the biggest part, what's left is the conversion of tags and the proper rendering on the front end. So right now, the app is already able, our internal version, is already able to transfer everything. So it appears in Treepl's admin. And we're working on, we need to add the conversion in order for pages and products and everything to shopping cart to render properly on the front end. So for this one, we're aiming to release it next week. So the e-commerce migration, we're aiming to release it next week. And you can, if you need to migrate the site without e-commerce, you can do so to take advantage of that 30% off. And we will price match the migration of e-commerce when it's out there. So you don't have to wait too long, and if you want to work on the migrated site already. Okay, there's some fun going on in chat. Okay, let me go further. So the question that you guys might have is what's coming next. So what we're gonna work on next in what's left, and what we're gonna work on next on the platform. Since we have a little over 1 year until Business Catalyst EOL, and considering the fact that we're finishing up the Business Catalyst replacement project, what's coming what's next for Treepl. So this is our this is how I'd like to explain how we prioritize and make decisions on features and improvements that are going into platform for next sprint. As you know, we develop most of our releases are every 3 weeks. So the next one is scheduled, I think, for April 8th. There are 4 categories of features and improvements. So all the features and improvements that all of them are categorized into 4 categories. Number 1 is those missing bigger features, those that you had in VC and you need them for your migrated websites. These are import and export of products. If you want to import products with the CSV file. Next is payment gateways, PayPal, Authorize.net, mostly used on BC. We already have Stripe and eWay. Advanced CRM and custom reports. So this is the first category. The second category is features, improvements, bugs that are coming from active partners and their live sites. So partners that have 50 plus live sites that are at active migration system, and we look at their statistics and looking at their feedback. So this is a separate category of features that are coming from those partners. Number 3 is a public backlog, where you guys the votes that you guys put. So we track that and we examine that, and thanks Adam and Peter for cleaning up public backlog. This helps. And thanks Peter for making all that work and gathering all those requests from the forum. So this is number 3, and number 4 is refactoring and optimization. So we have a separate resource for that. It's a continuous ongoing work. And like I said, it's going to be there for at least, no, it's not going to be at least, it's up to 6 months. So what we do is for every sprint, we are aiming to deliver features and improvements for every category. So we want to take at least one feature that is missing, one bigger feature that is missing that was in VC. We want to add fixes and improvements for active partners that they need for their migrated sites or their live sites. And like eWay, for example, was eWay in VC? Was eWay, was it in VC? Okay, there was one feature that was never in VC, but we did it because you guys requested. I think it's the secured documents, right? I think you didn't have that in VC, right? Or you did?
The security directories we didn't have, but
okay, you didn't have. So basically, we had to make an exception because a lot of active partners needed that, even though we didn't have that. VC didn't have that really. So we make those exceptions once in a while for active partners. And public backlog, we take some stuff from there, and refactoring. I already said about that. So the next sprint is not going to be an exception. So for next sprint, we are taking. Let me take a look at our internal schedule. So the bigger features that we're aiming at is import and export of products, and we have several partners that really need that, and they don't need it for migration; they need it for existing sites. For new sites, they need to migrate. They need to import CSVs and Excel files and turn them into products. And downloadable products is the next thing. Is one of the other items that we want to add to Treepl for April 8th release. On top of that, there are some features from public backlog will be added, and there's going to be a lot of features and improvements that we got as a feedback from working with eCommerce and for bigger sites, like more complex sites. So we actually have a separate developer, 100%. He's going to work only on those requests. It's multiple stuff. It's a lot of stuff, and we're gonna have a whole, like a batch of those. Any questions? Let me take a look what's happening. Oh, shipping options. Yeah, we can. Shipping options is, it looks like it's number one thing in the public backlog. So we basically will squeeze it into this or next sprint. So it looks like it's very important. And there's not nothing super complex. It's mostly API work. So yeah, it's definitely something that's coming soon. Backups. Backups is an interesting one. We don't have it in the internal schedule yet, to be honest, and I need to check. We'll basically see how we'll basically prioritize and see how it's been requested in the future. Just put for offline payments. If anyone else, you can please vote for it. Yeah, seems like we're gonna have a lot of Mailchimp integration improvements. Yeah. Well, from what I see is from all the requests that I hear and from after examining the public backlog and the stuff that's coming from live sites from active partners, I think we will nail like 90% of stuff, of like most critical stuff, within 6 months. I don't see any obstacles that would prevent us from doing so, unless you guys continue to use the system. Other than that, we're pretty on track. So backups are huge. Well, there is we need there is a solution for backups that we have groomed already, and the reason why we didn't implement it yet, because we just got a feeling that there are more important things that would help partners to sell migrations and sell new sites. So yeah, we'll definitely, if there are any other votes for that and feedback for that, we'll definitely we'll keep an eye on it. So let us know. So any questions? Is offline payment isn't the same as BC? Oh, so a question from Vlad. Is offline payment is the same as in BC that is called COD payment method? So some are nodding and some are, we need more clearance. So Megan says no, Vlad, and Adam says yes. So whoever you decide to trust.
I asked because right now we have 3 types of payment. It's like pay by credit card, offline payment, or cash payment, that we called, and free payments. Free payments are worked only if amount is 0, and offline and cash payments or credit card is worked separate each time. So you can pay for your order or item or general payment form, like with credit card or cash payment. And it's right now in the website and trial sites.
Oh, it's been added to trial sites already, right?
It's right to the trial and live sites already. It was done like in previous sprint, I guess, and was modified, edited.
Okay, so Megan.
Yeah. I guess I write it to my internal backlog, this feature somewhere. Yeah, it's in my internal backlog.
Is it like a major one? Do you think, like from first glance, do you think it's something big? Or we need to groom it?
Yeah, we need to groom it because it will be not the same as in BC, but it will be like similar to.
While we're in e-commerce, I had this question in my mind. I remember this question I had to you guys. So to Australians, do you guys prefer eWay? Some of you are preferring eWay because of this lower interest rates than Stripe, or or is it a secret?
Alex, for me, eWay is just more, I guess, more prevalent in Australia, I guess, and it's more flexible. Or not flexible in terms of, I guess, going in and setting up things in the eWay. Yeah, I think, and for accounting as well, it seemed to work better with Xero and things like that, whereas Stripe seems to sit outside that. It's a bit more like PayPal in that regard. So eWay is more integrated with your bank accounts and your accounting. So it's more of a business-oriented solution, I think. That's how I would see it.
Okay. Great. It's more trusted customers. Well, if you want, I'd like to. I still would love to share the developer's perspective on eWay versus Stripe, for example. It's extremely outdated and not flexible from the developer's point of view. So the working with Stripe is and working with eWay is just two completely different worlds. We would prefer to spend our time and developing other features, but Stripe is so much more modern and up to date and flexible, and they constantly developing. Where inside eWay, everything is there. We get a lot of complaints. We have the same developer, one developer that does all payment gateways. So his feedback regarding eWay and Stripe has been very different. So I thought maybe if it's the interest rate, I thought we should. It seems like it's more localized for Australia, and people got used to that and trust it. Although I took a look at first, I thought eWay is one of those payment gateways that will die soon, and I went up in Wikipedia and looked at it. It's pretty big, and it's been it's been there for a while. It's kind of developing from the business point of view. But from the developer's point of view, it looked like it's going to obsolete. So at least I got that impression. So that's why I was asking about that. So yes, Stripe does allow a lot of stuff, and we will be adding, and we would love to add more and more stuff for Stripe. So that one is great, and it gives that sense that it's going to be there for a while, and they're adding features. I will talk to them with one of their, I don't know, some person. They try to hook me up with some of their leads in US. I didn't get the position, so I was able to discuss with them I was hoping to discuss with them the possibility of maybe making like some corporate discounts for Treepl partners rather than instead of standard rates, if we prefer or highlight Stripe, and we'll see how that goes. There was a possibility for that for one other payment gateway, and there is still, but I just didn't hear anyone except one or two Treepl partners who would wanted that payment gateway. So I didn't contacted them and didn't dig in that direction yet. Is there a way to fix hosting prices in a Australian dollars? What do you mean? Like if we have Australian dollar pricing instead of US dollar pricing? That's what you mean? Well, we could have done this. The main reason we have it in USD, in US, there are two reasons. First, we're a US company, but the main reason is AWS is charging us USD for Australian data center. And in fact, the Australian data center costs even more than any other data center. So it's most expensive, and it's still in USD. Yeah, I get it. So if they change that, we definitely would consider doing that. But that's basically the reason. I have no idea why it's the most expensive. I think Sydney is the most expensive data center that AWS has at all. We will talk about migrations and the discounts a little later. Are there any questions? Let me see. I have. So we have. With eWay, the eWay didn't even allow us to integrate recurring payments. where Stripe did that. With Stripe, it was just really easy to do. There was no issue with that. So it was kind of weird for me, like why they didn't add that capability. And I'm sure you Australians, you guys would probably prefer, creating the recurring billing with eWay, right? They don't have it in their API for some reason.
Yeah, I think it's tricky with the recurring because I think for the customer it's nice to sort of do it all in the admin and have like secure zones or products recurring. But I think most of the time you need a little bit of customization to the recurring. So I always end up doing it within eWay. But yeah, even the eWay portal is outdated and clunky. But yeah.
So some of you, I'll go further. So as you probably remember, like last year, I did private sessions with surveys for you guys and asking you some questions to basically understand where you're at and where you're heading, and to basically understand your needs. And based from that, it helped us to shape our strategy that was spot on and brought us to where we are right now. So I would like to repeat that. I would like to do the same thing, and I'd like to do private sessions with surveys. And we'll send invitations starting this week, and we'll start those sessions starting next week. I was hoping to do several. I will have several meetings this week already. I have that scheduled already, but for the most of you, I will send the invites from for this private session. It will be like 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how it goes. I have a new email address. So as you know, Code Production is not there anymore. Instead, there's Treepl Services. So we now have one domain, treepl.co. So my new email is a@treepl.co. So it's super fancy. I really like that. So this is where you get the notifications. Make sure you get this doesn't get to spam. So it's completely new. G Suite email account shouldn't be blacklisted. Guess what's Vlad's email is? VMan. Yeah, that's it. Without at or anything. Just VMan. That's the whole email address. Fancy email. No, John, it's not that. Okay. So this is regarding private sessions, and we're going to talk a lot about other stuff because you guys are all at different migration paces, and some of you are approaching the finish line, and those guys are asking me questions that are my favorite questions. What's next? So we basically we have I think Aaron called it I like his how he named it a BCEOL storm. So after the BCEOL storm, what's going to happen next? What's coming next to Treepl? So this is my favorite subject. Draco at treepl.com. Yes, well, you know what? Vlad doesn't have Treepl Co email yet. He still uses his own. A lot of his accounts is internal accounts are associated to that. But thank you for giving him all these ideas. I'm sure he's going to use one of these. So what's after the BCOL storm? So we have two backend teams. Basically, as you know, our platform is developed in .NET framework, and the entire backend. And we have two teams, and one works on the infrastructure. It's the platform's core, Treepl Portal, our deployment software, SSO, API, extensions, future extensions. security, load balancing, etc. So that's a big piece, and we have it's not only the back end; it's tied together with AWS and our infrastructure, AWS, and currently our infrastructure allows us to grow the platform to a very good degree and to expand way beyond BC, and give us some great opportunities. But we do we want to look. We did have at least 3 or 4 meetings this year where we just groomed and discovered our next steps and opportunities for Treepl after we finish this whole BCOL, business catalyst replacement. So as a result, we have determined a new infrastructure changes, some major changes to infrastructure that will bring will open up a lot of opportunities for us as for developers. Our architect and the senior .NET developer is working on those changes already. So we have been designing. It was me, Vlad, Alexei. He's responsible for all of our AWS movements and everything that happens with servers, and our admin team. He's a team lead, and our architect, the guy who's with 17 years of he's been a .NET developer for 17 years or something. So we've been grooming this together, and we defined 3 goals for these infrastructure changes that we want to finish until the end of this year. So while the CMS is going to be progressing and we're going to deliver features, improvements from public backlog, from the feedback and all that, so we will develop those changes to infrastructure with 3 goals. We want to reach 3 goals with that. First is the speed. We want Treepl to be the fastest, the most as fast as possible, taking into account all the technologies that we can use and the AWS capabilities. Second is scalability. We want Treepl to grow to 1 million sites, and our infrastructure shouldn't block us from growing Treepl to 1 million sites, leveraging the AWS capabilities. And the number 3 is flexibility for us, for developers, so we could build as many features as we want and as complex as we want. And second is for Treepl developers. We want to extend the capabilities of Treepl developers and give them a lot of capabilities to things that they couldn't have done with BC, or they cannot do with any other platform that would give them control on things that you usually may get only by being a backend developer. So this Vlad is really good in that, because he has several ideas that he has approved for these changes, and that's good. Those things going to be, I'm pretty sure, going to be excited. Our developers will get excited. So these are the things that are beyond Liquid. So we finally confirmed these changes. I actually have a picture of all this plan and with the team. So a photo we're probably going to put on the wall when it gets delivered. So and the trigger for this idea, basically, it was basically you guys, because after my last year's interview with each one of you, I was surprised that we have this opportunity we have this network of Treepl partners from all around the world. I think it's how many countries now, and they all represent different sectors, and they develop websites for absolutely different and various niches of economy of society. So these are all types of websites, from government to e-commerce to small businesses, big businesses. So so what we want to do is so the idea for that we want to, our goal for this whole project is to eventually, we want you to be able to build on Treepl anything you want, and we want to deliver that new version starting new year next year. So starting in 2021. So this is something that we will plan to deploy starting next year, beginning of next year. We currently leverage not more than 20% of Treepl's potential, and I mean the developer side and the partner side. So what we want to do this year, while we do those changes to the infrastructure, while we finishing up those the features to CMS, while you are guys dealing with migrations, I have an idea of creating grooming meetings with the community groomings. I named that. So basically, I know that, like, for example, Megan, can I use you as an example? You are an e-commerce expert, and you have that lovely employee that is e-commerce expert as well, and she's really good working with the end customers, and she knows exactly what the end customers want and what current other platforms, including ours, what current e-commerce platforms are missing, what are their downsides, and what are their pros and cons. So we would like to invite you, for example, and other partners who are in the e-commerce area, and we want to sit down, us and the team, and we want to groom the e-commerce for Treepl. So basically, we want to see from your end what's missing on the market and what we can offer, and we want to finalize it together and before it goes into development. So I'd like to split those meetings into several subjects. Like, for example, SEO would be another subject. The development would be another subject, and Adam would be there for sure. And all the developers would be there, and we would compare platforms. We would hear out what's missing. Vlad will bring his ideas, because he has some crazy ideas on what kind of capabilities we can get to Treepl developers. And yes, we basically want to split it into subjects and groom it together with you guys and leverage that whole potential that we as developers and you as partners have in order for us to build that platform that's where you can build anything you want the way you want it. So, and we want to, this is what we want to aim in 2021. So we want to implement those changes in 2021, starting January. Good. Yeah, Barry, this is exactly what we want. So my initial idea was to spend my own time and hire marketing and hire researchers to research the platforms and all that. And then after I did the sessions with you last year, I was like, man, we just can do it together. We just there's no one else, no one better than you guys who could basically help us to shape Treepl and shape the very best offer and the very best solutions. So basically, you will, if you're competing like Shopify, those who use Shopify, we would need some feedback as well from you guys to basically build the best e-commerce solution that is out there. So we will need all of the feedback. And our team already is excited about this idea. You've probably seen they've been very active in forum. So this is a new level of communication with partners. And a great opportunity for some of them to practice English, finally. Alex, 3 of our remaining migrations depends on API capability. Can you offer any comments on how to proceed there? For API availability, for API integrations, we need to examine each of the sites ourselves. So please send them to support for review, and we'll see what we can offer there. Well, technically it's possible. There are just several ways to do that. Yeah, message to support, send links of the sites and with descriptions of what the API, what those apps are doing through API. Okay, so this is it for for what's coming to Treepl next. For those who still consider Treepl, we won't be having any sweeter deals than it is right now. So we have a $1,000 migration credit if you become a partner, and 30% off on migrations in March. We will have 25% off in April on migrations, and this will be our final discount for migrations. We may repeat 25% we may repeat the migration credit on Black Friday, but that might not happen. I'm not sure yet. But the migration prices, we know that our migration pricing and comparing other solutions, we've received very good feedback and on the pricing as well. So April will be the last final month for 25% discount. You'll have the e-commerce for a full month. And my last thing I have in my list is, could you please send us the showcase of sites? There are just few of you that are doing that on a regular basis. So we have lots and lots of live sites, and we want to share them, especially those are complex and especially complex migrations and the new sites we would like to showcase on our website. And this is very important for BC partners that are still considering Treepl, and they need some extra reasoning to choose Treepl. So we would definitely appreciate the new sites on our website, new showcases on our website. Well, if things, Jack, if things are going for this kind of stuff, I do consult with our investor partner. So everything that's related to finances, I do consult with our investment partner, and we make those decisions together. On the other hand, you probably understand we need to stay profitable, and we need to basically continue investing and continue developing the CMS. So we'll definitely look at finding that best spot so to keep the migrations flow and offer you the very best deal. We do have a commitment of our goal is to give you the best offer. So from all the migration options, from all the BC alternatives, our goal is to be the #1 choice and give you the very best offer. As long as we follow that, the prices will be the same. If that changes, we will definitely be flexible. I can guarantee you that. So if things develop and continue with this whole coronavirus thing, in April and stuff, we will probably prolong that and give you some extra discount. That's it. That's everything that I had on my end. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
Thanks, Alex, for sharing all those details. That was really good. I think for me, the biggest takeaway from all that, and it's been the same from day one, is that the community can really shape Treepl, and they're willing to allow us to do that. So I think that's really, really the key here for Treepl, and that's always what brought me to Treepl. And that's really what Treehouse is about. So, yeah, just really, again, really encourage everyone to get involved with Treehouse and the community and help shape the platform to be what you guys want it to be. So, yeah, I thank Alex and the team for allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to jump on or put them in the chat. And
I have a question.
Sure.
This is my sad face that I signed up for Fun Squad and I have no supporters.
What is it?
In the roles. I just had to say that because I got to go.
yeah, you got a lot of work to do, Barry.
Oh, I thought. Hang on.
Yes, please, everyone, join Barry in the Fun Squad and get some laughter happening. All right, so we've almost been, I think, what, nearly 2 hours here now. So thanks for everyone sticking around. I think we've pretty much had everyone stick around. So thanks for that. And yeah, I think we'll call it a day. Everyone get back to work. All right, thanks, guys.